Yeah, but that 3 minutes is
Until
quick.
many years, Sanagowe.
Hey guys, we want to apologize for the inconvenience, technical issues, but don't worry, we're gonna fix this stuff someday. Yeah, but folks, you were saying?
So I was saying that this guy, is almost having a pity party with himself as to the fact that he feels like he let himself down and all of that. So I'm saying, look, forget that. You can formulate that and make that into a very powerful and compelling story.
Yep.
And say, so when you talk to the next person, you say that you don't want to do what I did. And I
Yes.
said, this is what I did, and these were my thoughts. I thought I was looking for something smarter, quicker, and whatever, and it didn't work out. You understand? And now I'm back in full circle. You understand? Back with the vengeance, right? So now I'm saying that to say, to ask you this question rather. Why is it that out of thousands of people who have come excited, spend money, travel to where their launch is, right? People saying that they want to change their lives, they want to make this million, but come the end of the 90-day game plan or the end of the second 90-day game plan, they're nowhere to be found. So why is it that what makes other people succeed and other people not? That's what I'm curious about.
Wow. Uh, yeah. Look, I've been thinking about that, and I just thought about it. This other day, it really boils down to me. It's the story you tell yourself. Like what you just shared right now. The person was telling a story of this day they could have been, and you actually told two different stories that they could choose from. They could choose a story where they say, yeah, I missed out this is what oh, believe in a story, but that could be my story that I could actually build from. It's like a movie. If you imagine, one of the reasons why we didn't like Chuck Norris, or a lot of people didn't like Chuck Norris as time went on, it's because nobody could touch Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris. Steven Seagal today, Jackie Chan far outlasted Steven Seagal. The difference between the two, not that Jackie Chan was a better actor, was that his stories were more relatable.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal just came in, just knocked everyone. That's not life.
Yeah.
Um, whereas and so basically, all of us have a disadvantaged story, a story where things could have turned out better,
Yeah.
and you can either hold on to that, but here's a story. You know what I mean? Um, and people don't know that it's actually the stories that sell. It's and basically the failing stories, because that's what people relate to. Yes, I mean there are more failures than those who are succeeding. And so if you could really start by saying, okay, cool, like for me, okay, whatever mistake that I've made forms part of my, like right now, like I mean I still fail, but I feel like I'm connecting more with people when I share my failures than when I share my successes, because they can see the success. You know what I mean? And so really, I think what we need to do, maybe as a society or maybe as individuals, I think that's what is maybe starting to work for me right now, is to look at my failures and formulate a story. Like just what you said.
You know what you're saying. It's interesting now. Your view. Most of the people, do people want Chuck Norris or do they want Jackie Chan? No one wants to be Jackie Chan. Because with Jackie Chan, there are
get
failures.
You get hurt.
Head,
That guy broke
and
every single
everything.
bone.
Yes. But with Chuck Norris, it's just easy. People, they think that life is all about Chuck Norris. It's all about success. No one wants to travel the journey, but everyone wants to arrive at a destiny. As a result, when they can't see the destiny, and not that they can't see the destiny, when they see someone else that has arrived in a destiny, they think that they have failed. Not because they have failed, they judge themselves based on other people's story. Instead of doing some introspection and judge themselves based on their story. Where am I going and my journey? The car that I'm driving. Because if I'm driving Polo versus the person that is driving Mercedes-Benz, am I going to panic when I see Mercedes-Benz overtaking me? No. Because I know that I'm driving Polo and my Polo is going to take me to my destiny. That's why most of the people end up causing accident. It's because they want to race with the Mercedes-Benz. As a result, maybe that Mercedes-Benz is just going around the corner and you are still traveling far. You still have a distance that you need to travel. In order for you to achieve the longest distance, you need to have put more petrol and you need to have a proper car in order to get there. The preparations, because most of the few people that want to go through the preparation and prepare themselves so that they can be able to tell the story. So many people enjoy telling the story of their failures, but they don't want to go through the story. They don't want to live the story. Everyone, when you are standing in front of the people and you share your failures and your success, and everyone's kind of like, wow, it has that feel good. But the question, when you are going through that journey, it doesn't have that feel good.
Of course. That's true. What comes to mind with you?
Look, again, it comes down to your worldview. It comes down to what you were saying. You know, what do you tell yourself, right? I'll give you an example, right? So I was in real estate for 6 years, right? I left real estate for something better. Someone might say, but you failed. Why didn't you make it happen there? Do you understand? So, and for me, I look at that, and it was a stepping stone to where I am right now.
Yes.
Sure.
So the principles and everything that I've learned there, you understand, it's what I'm applying where I am today, right? So I guess it has to do with, failure itself is not wrong.
Yeah.
Failure is not wrong.
I think again, let's go back and define what is failure.
Exactly.
Because sometimes we tend to define terms wrongly.
Yes.
What is failure?
Yes. So Thomas Edison, right, the inventor of the light bulb, right, he tried how many times? 10,000 times. So every time he would try and it doesn't work, you know, his attitude was, I found one way that doesn't work. Not that I failed in this time, you understand? And then the second time
I've succeeded in finding.
You understand?
Hey man, for folks.
So
this is crazy.
So it's like it's exactly what you're saying. In my view, this is what failure is, right? Failure is, if we were to only look at nature, we would learn a lot about life.
Yeah.
You know, if a kid is learning to walk, how many times is that kid gonna fall down? You know, he's gonna bump his head. He's gonna feel aina. You understand?
Yes.
But does the child ever give up? You know, we as parents, do we ever say, I know my child, you've been falling so much, you know, maybe this walking thing is not for you. let's try sticking to the crawling.
Yeah.
Maybe this walking is not for you. You understand?
Maybe it was not meant for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So why
everyone's different.
exactly. Everyone's different, right? We are all gifted different.
All gifted different.
You know, secure OPU.
You
understand?
Yes.
Those are stories we tell ourselves.
Exactly. Those are the stories we tell ourselves. But the question is, I mean, when you are, it's like Paul saying, you foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? I mean, you were a child at some point, you failed and you succeeded, you understand? And you never gave up until, you understand, you started walking, you started running. You know, why now as an adult, you understand, when you experience a minor setback, you want to say, maybe this thing is not for me. You know, one gentleman who helped me a lot, because this is actually stemming from two different things, right? So in my walk with God, I've had people say to me, if it's to be, you understand, if it's meant to be, then it's gonna be easy.
Yes.
There shouldn't be any struggle. You understand? It's grace. You understand? Because of grace, you shouldn't struggle. You know, it should flow, right? And whenever it's a struggle, it means then it's not supposed to be.
Yeah,
you understand?
yeah.
Stop pursuing. You understand?
Yes.
And then I met one gentleman who says to me,
or alternatively, they'll say go pray a bit longer because it's a demonic intervention.
exactly. Exactly. So I met this gentleman, Pastor Mdonenji, who actually, he was a very pragmatic person.
Sure.
This guy would say, look, you decide on a destination, that's where you're going. You understand? This is the road you need to go. This guy would say, you know, that whenever you knock and the door doesn't open, never, don't stop knocking. You understand? So, in other words, he would say, he would put it this way, fight in Mfanamdala, you must fight. You understand? You must fight to break the cycle. When you encounter resistance, keep on fighting. You understand? Keep on fighting, right? Don't stop fighting. So that helped me a lot, to say that, it just because, I'm going to that direction, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to encounter problems in the journey. Do you understand?
Yes.
In fact, problems are actually there to prove my resolve, to show me to me. You understand? So coming back, failure to me is actually encountering a problem and then give up. To me, that's failure.
Stopping.
You only
stop.
fail when you stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But
if you're still moving, you're still in emotion,
Yes.
that's not a failure.
you've just succeeded in finding ways that it's not going to work.
Wow, that's like, and going back to, if you look at nature, nothing in nature stands still. Nothing in nature has been designed to stand still. If you look at the photosynthesis process, like it's a moving cycle. From the sun rays to the water, back to the sun rays, and these are the elements that people actually forget, that nothing in nature stands still. Everything is moving, and that is what success is. So as a person, when your heart is failing, it's no longer working. When your mind is failing, it's no longer moving forward. So just going, like, really thinking about this, I never really thought about it that way, that success, because if success is not a destination, it's a movement. So therefore failure is also not a destination, it's a stop. It's stopping a movement. That's the process. It's not moving. And I think, going back to what you're saying also, the question on Natamzi about what is it that causes some people to succeed and some not. And I think it's on the other hand, so on the one spectrum we have people telling themselves negative stories. On the other spectrum we have toxic positivity. I've been a victim of that a lot of times. Positive just for the sake of being positive. Called toxic positivity.
Explain that.
See, one of the things, for you to move forward, you need to be able to navigate where you are. There's no GPS. It tells you where you're going. It gives you direction, but it can't give you that direction without first navigating where is it that you are. Right? And so a lot of people want to talk about the destination and not really talk about where they are. And where you are, you're not saying you're defining yourself according to the current circumstances, but it is you being real to the fact that there's something about my now that I need to change. That the reason why things are like this, there's a part of me that needs to change, that has produced this, that this is not going to be capable, without me dealing with this. And so for me, just hoping that things are going to be better. Things are just going to be, just hoping and, believing in the context of believing, you know what I mean? That things are going to be better. It puts us into a very dangerous place of hopes unfulfilled. What does Solomon say about, longing?
Longing fulfills a tree of life. A dream deferred is a dream deferred makes the heart sick.
Exactly. So a lot of us have become sick because of deferred dreams. Right? And it makes you go crazy. Like, it makes you literally go crazy. Right? You know what to say, you know how to say it, you know when to say it, but you don't have the results of the things you're saying, simply because you've not dealt with the current place where you are. You know what I mean? And dealing with the current place, maybe you number one, your heart is not in the right place. Right? You're trying to obtain success because you are jealous of your success. You're trying to cover up something deep inside of you that is really a problem, and if you could deal with that, like all of that with other. So a lot of like us are using, and I've found this in ministry as well, like in preachers, they are broken but they preach it. Like, they are broken and they're preaching, and the fact that they are preaching while broken breaks them even more, because they're inspiring and lifting everyone else up, but deep inside they're being torn down. And guess what? You don't start. You know what happens on that level? When your dreams are deferred, you no longer believe in what you say. Like you yourself. Like that's the worst thing ever. That's the worst form of imprisonment where you no longer believe in what you say. Like you say things, oh, how good, but you don't believe it. You inspire other people, but you don't believe what you're saying. In fact, it works for other people that are listening to you, but it will never work to you because toxic positivity.
Physician, heal thyself.
You know what I mean? And that's for me what I think like, and I think that's also a function of people not being real. Like one thing I'm really, past couple of months that I'm really starting to, is like be real with yourself, man. Like, you know, like there's just so much being fake out there, fake happiness, like just be real. Okay, this is where I am right now. This is where I want to go to. I don't know how to get there. Like this is who I am. This is what I've done. This is, you know what I mean? I'm broken. I'm like this. I'm like that. Right? And so, but I want to get there. But let me deal with what is holding me back. You know, I'm not gonna. I was having a conversation today with my. I don't know if I should say this, but I'm since we're here, we're open. Right? I was sharing, not with I was sharing this with someone a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying that as so scientifically and so metaphysically, that's the right way they meet spirituality and physics, metaphysics, right? They say that there are 4 things that normally happens to a person when they are trying to be deferred from their dreams. Number 1, the most common of them is alcohol. So people become so submersed in alcohol, right? Because they need it, you know what I mean? Number 2, it's compulsive and impulsive sex. Like people just want to have sex, especially like when people are not achieving. That is why poor people have a lot of kids. Why? Because they need to replace that feel good hormone of not achieving with something. And sex is one thing that makes you feel good for doing nothing. Like you're not being productive, but yay, you know what I mean? Narcotics, you know, either you know you smoking and stuff like that. You know, it's trying to cover up your it's trying to create a positive emotion from nothing. That's what called basically toxic positivity, where there's no plan, there's no direction, but you're feeling. It's the same thing. People like drugs. You know what I mean? Like people who they feel high, they feel good for nothing. You know what I mean? And so you need to be able to differentiate that from, you know what, I'm proud of the decisions I'm making. I've stopped doing A, I've stopped doing B, I've stopped doing C, and I'm so excited about the direction I'm moving into right now because of all the things I let go. In other words, toxic positive or the proper positivity is you being positive about the sacrifices that you're about to make for the future that you want. So what are you willing to let go? What are you willing to deal with in your, you know, like that's the darkness behind success.
Wow. So how should we be positive? Because, you know, positivity has its place, right? So, but then how should we be positive in a way that we don't cross the line and get into toxic positivity?
What do you think, Damson?
I
like your knowledge of the future.
You know, the question that I wanted to ask in terms of how do you know that you're positive? We need to start there, because so many people that say that are positive. But if you are positive about and you are all believing in what you are saying, because it's easier to just share positive thoughts. But the question is, what are you doing? If for me, if I were to say whether this person is positive or not, is judged based on, do you believe in what you're saying that you're believing in by actions? What are you doing? Because so many people, so like for instance, especially in the religious circles, they've got so much to do. They know how to put words together. They know how to inspire people poetically.
Yeah.
But the question is, what are they doing? That's why you find that most of the people that are religious, that are so intellectual, they share all this positive thought, but they're not doing anything. Until you see the person, you judge people by their actions. Because it doesn't help to wake up and do your affirmations and gratitude and so forth and say that I'm positive and say all the good things, but you're not doing anything, but you're still at home.
I think that is why Paul was in Corinthians, in the land of where people, you know, a lot of Greeks who were very smart, who were very articulated. That is where the foundation of like the Greek philosophy came from, and he was talking about them, and he mentioned this one thing. He says the kingdom of God is not about talk; it's about power, and power is doing. You know what I mean? Like, and he was I think he was frustrated with the same thing where, hey, these people were happy, but articulate, but hey, their life, you know, like there was no progressiveness to their life. And he says, look, guys, understand this. You know, I didn't come here with a lot of persuasive words of understanding, because I didn't want your faith to be on my words.
Again, it goes back to that failure.
Yeah.
People that are knowledgeable are the people that have failed because they share their information based on experience,
Yep.
not based on a hearsay or hotspotting. That's why in an African culture they say that uthi ubuhle bendoda zinkomo. Because someone that is wealthy, that person, you don't become wealthy by luck. You become wealthy by action, by failures. That means that you've got experience. That's why for me it's difficult to listen to someone who has never achieved anything, but this person can articulate well. So many people can articulate well, but when it comes to say that, what have you achieved? What have you done? The question is not about whether you've got, you are poetic, you've got good things to say. The question, show me your scars. That's what I want to know. Show me your scars.
Yeah, you know, like what you're saying right now, I remember a conversation I was having with a guy. We all know him, and he had a friend who was he was deep into metaphysics. You know, like, people, they use pseudoscience. Like, these people are deep into metaphysics. Hey! So this guy wanted to invite his friend who was deeper into metaphysics and knew a lot of this affirmation and what and studies, and he wanted to bring this guy to a training that we were going to host at the office in PE. And he wanted to talk to me. We spent a good 30 minutes debating with this guy why this guy would not fit. Because by the first time I met this guy, he was drunk. You know, imagine, like, he was drunk. He was not happy in his marriage, right? He had never done anything entrepreneurial. He was never creative. You know, yeah, he holds a very good managerial position in. So I'm saying to them, look, that guy is good. I don't like you say he's good, but he's not good for here. We don't want people who know a lot. We want people who have, you know what I mean, who's speaking from a place of doing. You know what I mean, and yeah. So a lot of people, like, we really want to celebrate all of these articulative stuff, but most importantly, the process. And the process that we celebrate, Amzi, is not even necessarily the cars and the houses. It's impact. Are you really impacting people? You know what I mean? Like, before I swerve, you know, just to answer your question, Prof. Fox, what I believe is the fine line. See, so imagine me saying I'm positive about losing weight. What does that mean? Oh, I'm positive. I'm gonna lose weight this year. Well, that really doesn't matter. That could be toxic positivity. Unless I wake up in the morning and I go to gym. Positive that whatever I'm doing right now, at the end of the day,
To put it into practice.
So I might not see the result tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that I'm not seeing it tomorrow, I'm positive that as long as I'm doing what I'm doing, it's gonna work. So that's where positivity and belief comes in. You know, it's if I was at home, I believe. That's what we call toxic positivity. I believe I'm gonna lose weight. I'm eating all sorts of junk and stuff like that. And so exactly the same with. So what I'm saying is that it's a function. And remember, by the time I decide that I'm gonna go lose weight, I'm gonna become a better person, I'm gonna be in shape, I'm also deciding at the same time what I'm not gonna be. Yeah. When I decide to be great, I'm also deciding not to, I'm also deciding not to be mediocre, Yeah. And so it's like a cutting.
Yes.
And so when I'm deciding to go up to gym, I'm deciding not to sleep and relax and become overweight and stuff like that, And so that is what positivity should be about.
Yes.
It's about you working and developing something pragmatic about yourself. Something practical, something really, really practical that you're gonna follow. That is a consequence that will eventually form a belief that you have, and positivity.
So Napoleon Hill says, if you have not decided to be wealthy, automatically you have decided to be poor. If you have not decided to be healthy, automatically you're deciding to be unhealthy.
Yep.
Not taking the decision is just decision.
We live in a world of polarity.
Yes.
And
There's no neutrality.
yeah, so if you choose this one, you're automatically not choosing this one.
Yeah.
You understand?
If it
So
happened,
if you're saying you want to play it safe, I don't want to get my hopes up and say I'm going to be a millionaire. What if I don't become a millionaire? Let me just rather try and play it safe. You have automatically
Chosen.
surrendered yourself and chosen to actually remain in a life of poverty and lack. That's what people don't understand, right? That's what people don't understand. And for a lot of folks, they think it's about see, being wealthy is not really about the money, right? The money is good, right? But you can't eat money, right? So money can't make you money can buy you a house, but it can't make it a home.
Yes.
Two different things, right? But the money it's actually about giving you choices, right? It's about allowing you to live a fuller life. You understand? And be able to express your life more fully. You understand? Because if you don't have money, then you're limited, right? You're limited into what you can do, what you can say, where you can go, and
what you can contribute to.
Exactly. You understand? So that's what I find interesting. So I'm looking at the time now. I want to close with this thing, right? And this is, you hear this from different people, different ways, different cultures, and that is, they will say in isiXhosa, yeah, ayikwazi ngekaphume ehlathini. You understand? In other words, if you are still in the bush, don't make a noise. You understand? Up until you are in the clear. You understand? I did something on the launch, and I asked on the group, and no one picked up on that. So I did something on the launch. I made an announcement, right? So, and I did that intentionally. So here's the thing. They say, work undercover. Don't let everybody know what you're doing, because there's too much negative energy out there. People can steal your dreams, or they can wish you, understand, bad, and you end up not realizing your dream and stuff like that. So in other words, there is it's like, not choosing to believe in the good. You're also choosing to believe in the bad, right?
That's true.
So in other words, you believe more in the power of the negative forces, you understand, to abort and to kill your dreams, right? More than you believe in the good to actually, irrespective of what everyone is saying or wishing, but you're able to live your dream. So now, when we look at these things, right, we are students of success, right? We're studying people who are successful and so forth and so forth. Now, if you look at this thing culturally, religiously, spiritually, codically, what would you say, is a again, I don't want to say it's the right way, because there's neither right nor wrong, right? But what I'm trying to say is, personally, I don't have a problem. I personally don't have a problem in saying that I want to do A, B, C, D, and E. I don't have a problem saying that, right? And I don't really care who you are, where you come from. You understand? You could be a priest. I don't care. You understand? It's just that I believe in, I believe in what I believe in, right? What I set my mind to do, everything else in the universe, God conspires and makes this thing a possibility. Do you understand?
Of course.
So what would you say, regarding stuff like that? Because on the other side, right, is that in the multitude of counselors, plans succeed. plans fail for lack of counsel. You understand? That's why he failed. You understand? You understand? Yet in the multitude of counselors, they succeed. Nobody goes to war without seeking counsel.
That's true.
Do you understand? So now if I keep everything to myself, I'm going to be negative out there, you understand? You know, am I not doing myself a disservice here?
Yeah, look, I think with Opera Fox, it's very important that, I like how you put it, you know. It's very important from which frame of reference are you talking about, you know. Like some people were operating from different, you know, like I believe that there's nothing positive about not talking about your dream. It comes from a element of someone will try to sabotage you, people will try to discourage. So it's always from...
It's fear motivated.
It's fear motivated. It's never really... It's not from there's no science or there's no principle that actually governs that particular thing. But on the other hand, you know, what really governs, you know, it's about obviously speaking it out. Like whatever you do, you know, the story of David Goliath, that shows us before he actually knocks the guy out and cuts off his head, he tells him exactly what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? He speaks it, you know, and he says it. And a lot of people don't understand that when you say these things, you're putting it out there for it to, like a magnet.
Yep.
It needs to attract the things that you have said, right? And remember, when you're speaking these things, you're not hoping.
Yep.
You're speaking it from a sense of desire. It's not something...
There's conviction.
There's conviction in it.
Those words carry weight.
Exactly.
And again, going back to that, it's a matter of the journey that you've walked. Because for you to be able to speak those words, you are referencing from the journey that you've walked. You know your victories. Like some of the people might not know the journey that you've walked. Because you're an individual, you know, when you're overcoming those obstacles, they were not there. And you know that I've overcome so many obstacles, therefore this is nothing compared to me. I've been moving in this journey, I've been traveling in this journey. Well, the problem, most of the people, they judge you based on who they are. Whoever says anything, they judge you based on who they are. As a result, because of so many negative things that are happening, as a result, people, they pay forward their fears. No, you're not going to do this. No one has ever done this thing. But when it comes to David, no one knew where David was. No one was there when David was facing those obstacles. All of them, they were busy preparing based on the school of thought of that time. But David was busy doing something else. So many people, most of the people that are cause the negativities is the people that are knowledgeable. It's people that have a knowledge, not a wisdom. Because it's the knowledge and accumulation just of the information. They are knowledgeable, but they've never put anything into practice. The soldiers of that time, they had a knowledge about the war. But David didn't have a knowledge, have a practical experience. I've overcome the bear, I've overcome the lion. Therefore, most of the people, if you were to look, or most of the entrepreneurs, are not the people that have degrees and MBAs, are the people that have practical life. They've done so many things to achieve that. And most of the people that have got MBAs are employed by the people that have walked the journey.
So, the meeting is on. Let's close it on this. Someone, Tamsanga says, words are powerful. They create things, but action is more powerful. I agree with you 100%. When I was, and this was, back then, I was talking from a point of understanding that the world was created with thought. God said, you understand? So I knew that, in fact, the scripture says that he framed the world, you know, with his words. So, and for me, I was like, that's what I'm doing, you understand? Because one of my favorite scriptures is Ephesians 5:1, you know, be imitators of God. So if he created the world by speaking, I'm going to create my world. And obviously, you know, I sounded very weird to a lot of people around me. This guy, this guy, you understand? This guy is wearing one pair of pants, you understand? Yet he's saying that he's a millionaire.
I think next week, Wednesday, when we talk again, we should speak about emanating from this topic, a culture that supports wealth creation versus a culture that doesn't. And the reason why, because you'll find that, again, these are probably people who shared a similar biblical philosophy as with you, but was overpowered by a culture, right? And so when you look at black people, or you look at the African culture, why is it less dominant in terms of wealth accumulation? And we want to discover and decipher what culture activities really hold us back from success, you know? Because I think of what you just said right now, that is it's a cultural no, and we take it as truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, wow, I think that was a great session, guys. Despite the network giving us a few problems, but we prevailed. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. We do acknowledge each and every one of you. You know, we see Lulu, we see Alina. Thank you very much for joining. Tamsanga, most welcome. Leadership, Kawekazi, most welcome. Nomtaz, Ukisani, Chuma, Mr. Hina, and Mr. Mbaipeli. You owe us one, Mbaipeli. We are watching you. You should be here. So thank you very much, guys. And we shall pick up on this topic and a few others again on Wednesday, right here, same time at the Success Factory, brought to you by Fox Nation. Thank you very much, guys. Stay blessed and ciao, ciao.
One last time